Hello, Mr. Arvizu. It's a great pleasure to have you in Euronews Albania.
Thank you for the invitation. And it's my birthday today, so this is a special, a nice present for me.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Let's start with the first question. We celebrate 30 years of establishment of relations between Albania and the United States. USA has supported Albania and always claimed to be a good friend of ours. Is Albania a good friend to the United States?
Oh, I think Albania is a wonderful friend to the United States. 30 years, I was the ambassador during the 20th anniversary. So it's a little bit hard to believe that 10 years has passed so quickly. But yes, I think Albania is a very good and reliable friend and partner of the United States. I feel very confident about that, yes.
Could you say probably do more to help Albania reach the necessary democratic standards for people of Albania?
Right. Well, let me say this. American diplomats often say that, democracy, it's a process, right? It's not an end state. It's something that you have to work on constantly. And I said that when I was in Tirana. But I have to be honest, as an American, I did not always fully feel that. But because of the turmoil that we felt in the United States these last 4 or 5 years, I understood very well that even in a country like the United States, which is seen by so many around the world as like, a wonderful democratic experiment, and it is, but we had so many problems, and we still have problems. So that's why I feel like I can say confidently to Albanians, it's frustrating, I know, the corruption, the uneven progress on judicial reform, but you in Albania, you're on the right path. It's the Western path, it's the Euro-Atlantic model, you're in NATO, you have a clear path to EU membership and the special relationship with the United States. It's critical to just stay on that path.
And another question for the relations between Albania and United States. Should the US be more present in the country with investments?
That's a very good question, and it's a little bit of a difficult one. So let me answer 2 ways. In terms of investments, yes, obviously, in trade and commerce. But, I have to be very honest. Albania is a very small economy, and not just Albania, but that entire region, including Kosovo, including North Macedonia, including Montenegro. So realistically, I think, we have to have realistic expectations about, how much can be done economically. But in a larger sense, yes, the United States should be more engaged in the Western Balkans. There are a lot of forces at work in the region. Not all of them are positive. Not all are democratic. Not all have the interests of Albanians and the Western Balkans people in their minds. So the U.S. should be more engaged and more involved in the Western Balkans. Yes, definitely.
Mr. Arvizu, let's change a little bit the topic of our conversation. We are entering into an electoral campaign with parties seem to be very tense and conflictual. It looks like 10 years ago when you yourself had to go to a vote counting center and pull your sleeves up to avoid a deadlock in Tirana. Are you following the events in Albania? How do you evaluate it?
Right. Well, of course, I have elections in mind, and I'm in touch with a lot of friends who are telling me about different parts of it. I know the electoral code has changed. I don't fully understand the changes, but I think basically I understand what is happening. I think it's great that there's a regularly scheduled election. This is going to be a test for the Socialist Party. Whether they win a third consecutive mandate. It will be a test for the opposition to see if they can capitalize on popular sentiment, some of which is or wants change. So yes, I'm very interested in following it, and I know that Ambassador Kim and my colleagues at the American Embassy are fully supportive of the process. I'm looking forward to the results, and I hope it will be a peaceful and an orderly campaign.
Parties are using a harsh language, to be honest, which may lead into a conflict. How we can avoid that? And what is your message to our political environment? Right.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can't say that I'm surprised. I think the two elections when I was there, the general election 2013, local was in 2011. There were some controversies, some hard language, like you said, some threats, all of which is not acceptable. But, in the end, I think both of those elections were seen as credible. I have every expectation that the election in 2021 will also be credible. These are difficult circumstances because of the pandemic. People just need to focus on the policy, and get away from the personality conflicts, from the attacking each other, using the media. I mean, it's easy to say. I know in reality it's not that easy, but people just need to make a choice and decide what's best for them and their families and their country.
And what's your message for Albanian people regarding these elections?
I always say, elections are an opportunity to hold the leadership accountable. And so, for those who support the Socialist Party and like to see it continue, or, even if you're not fully satisfied, but you think this is the right way to go, then, then your answer is easy. If you feel that it's time for a change, that you can trust the opposition to behave responsibly, then you have your decision. Everyone has to make that individual choice. But it's important to vote. It really is. And to not lose hope. The vote does matter. The change is possible only if people make or show up for the election. Whether you vote for the majority, whether you vote for the opposition. Change is not possible either way unless the citizens vote.
Mr. Arvizu, I thank you so much for this interview for Euronews Albania.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation.